Right, question 82 is one single query. You're going to have to do a whole lot of stuff to it, and pretty much can't get worse than this one because it's got everything in it all in one go. Okay, you don't have to create a query. In other words, it's already here. Let me close the table from the previous question. I should say yes, I guess. If you were to create a query, you would go to query, you would create it in design view, you would choose your table, and you would add, and you would choose fields, and you would go crazy. In this case, they're saying, no problem, we're giving you the query, you need to go and edit it. So we go into design view, and here is my query. Okay, it's got some stuff in it already. Okay, and if I run it, I'm getting some answers, and okay, what do they want us to do? Let's just see. First thing first, it must appear in strict alphabetical order. Remember we talked about it a bit earlier. In other words, you've got two Adams. Amy Adams must appear before the Zane Adams. Okay, so it must be sorted first by surname. Okay, what Access does, it sorts it from left to right. So you're going to have to put the surname first, and then the name. In other words, we're going to swap those two around, and then we're going to say sort it in ascending order. In other words, first by surname, and then by that. Okay, if you left them that like they were, it would have sorted it first by name and then by surname, which is not what you wanted to do. And we can check it. Here's the Africas. Kent is now coming in before Zaki. Well done, Kent. And they want us to change the criteria from male to female, so that's pretty easy. That's just going to be that. And there's some other stuff that I fucking remember. Okay, that's the gender criteria. The race and gender fields are not displayed. Okay, please note we're not removing them, we're just saying we're not displaying them, so we're unticking them. Okay, we're unticking them. Okay, so if we run our query, we're showing less fields. Okay. This is an interesting one. Show only those records where the surname contains the text IE. So in other words, somebody who's got the surname Ainda. Really strange. Turi or Daniels. In other words, could be in the beginning, could be in the end, could be in the middle, wherever you like. Okay, so it's the text IE. So we're going to use, I'll go back into design. Okay, in and surname. If I wanted to find only those people whose surname started with IE, I would say IE stop. Okay, it would give us anything that started with IE. In other words, IE and anything after. If I wanted those that had anything at the end that ended in IE, like Luri, then I would say star IE. In other words, anything in front, don't care what it is, but it ends in IE. We want anything anywhere. So we're saying star IE star. In other words, I don't care if it's in the front, there's anything in the front, I don't care if there's anything at the back, as long as there's an IE in it. Okay, and let's see that. And then we're getting the Daniels, Amy Daniels, Kanji Daniels, and the Didrichs, and okay, we're getting all the IEs, the Machilis, and the Potgieter's, and the Ninabas, and Al Milituris there as well. Okay, I think that's all except the calculated field. Okay, a calculated field called levy is added. The field must be the levy that is charged at 15% of the paid-in field. Okay, I'm just going to make these a little bit narrower so I can work a little bit easier here. Yeah, man. Okay, here we go. There's the entry fee field, and it's... What do they want to have this to be? It must be 15%. Okay, there's a new field called levy. Drove me to the levee, but the levee was dry. Singing good old whiskey and pie. Ba ba, American pie. Ba ba ba. Field must be the levy, I should say. There's charged 15% of the paid-in field. So okay, so we need to work out what 15% of the paid-in field is in a new thing. Right. Which is quite nice because it's over there. Okay. First things first. Let's make your column wider. Don't go trace. Okay, levy is the name of the calculated field. Colon. What does that mean? That just says put a new column in called levy for me. Okay, now we do our calculations. It's 15%. Unfortunately, there's no percentage sign, so we have to do it the good old-fashioned way. 15 divided by 100 times square brackets. You don't have to put the spaces in. I'm just typing. But I'm putting square brackets in because I'm going to refer to an existing field called paid in, which is already there. Okay, just trying to spell it right. Paid in. And remember to tick certificate. Okay, so we're saying, right, to access, put in a thing called levy, colon, 15 divided by 100 times by paid in. And just to make it nice and pretty, we'll make the properties, we'll make it change the format to currency. Currency, where's the currency heading? And there we go. And let's see what we get out of this thing. Okay, well, if they paid in naught, the levy's naught. Okay, I don't know why we're paying given the levy on that, but anyway, and so you can see that's roughly, that's 15%, that comes to £6. That's quite nice. Okay, note that we were just working out the levy, we were not adding it onto anything. If I wanted to add it onto the paid in, I would have said plus square brackets paid in. In other words, if I wanted to add 15% onto it, okay, all I'm doing is I'm working out what 15% of the paid in amount is. And that's it. The only thing he's going to remember is put the colon in there, division sign, is the little slash sign, because you can't use percentage, and wherever you use square brackets, you need to use them for fields that exist already. And the other thing is just watch out for spacing. Okay, often in exams they often have things like little underscores and things like that. Just make sure that you're not typing in a hyphen or something like that. You know, if you make a mistake and you type in something by mistake and it comes up with enter parameter value, pretty much sure you made a typing error. So just go back and fix it as needed, and that's true for forms, reports, pretty much anything. And that's the query. Do that query, and any other query is more difficult than that. Okay. No, there really isn't.